Just bring up the view of the portal. Hopefully people can see my screen now.
Yes.
See that? Okay, great. So what we look at here is the Oxcare patient portal. From the front page, you're presented with the option to look at care, and then that gives two options. One is About Me, which is primarily for editing the information, and also an About Me overview, which gives a briefer summary of the person's name, communication styles, and the option to print or download the About Me information. There are 7 sections within the form as per the PRSB template. And if we just click into each one of those, again, there's test data in here on a test account on the production server. The patient has an option to add an image for each of their important people. They can also add the detail of about the person, why they're important, and contact details if they want them to be contacted, or to specify that they should not be contacted. So I'll just browse down those. I think there are 3 people specified in this example. Next section, what is most important to me? What do carers need to know about me in an emergency? And again, there's the ability to add images within that form. Goals for the future. And this invites the ability to edit each section as well, which will take you to the main About Me section, which I'll click into once we've just stepped through the sections. So the third section, My Communication, it allows the user to highlight any preferred communication channels, how they like to be addressed, any other details in terms of what works for them in terms of communication. And important do's and don'ts for that particular person. And within my wellness, aspects of my life that best represent me, how I feel on a typical day, how I manage my conditions and symptoms, how I manage past events and health issues that affect me, how I avoid or address triggers and vulnerabilities, then section 6, how and when to support me. What do people caring for me and supporting me in an emergency need to know? Important routines, what I'm able to do for myself, what I need support with and how I want to be supported, and the detail about eating and drinking. And then the final section, section 7, also worth knowing, which could include employment information, places I've lived, important events, and again, further options to add images. So that's a quick overview. If I then go to the edit option, just to give a view of how that looks.
Certainly nice and clean interface, Simon.
Yeah, so I guess looking on this view, it doesn't present any particular tooltips. It just has static text there to give the patient the hint as what goes in there. And obviously that sort of thing is very flexible depending on what Herefordshire, Worcestershire might want to put in there in terms of support. So if I click into edit those, if I want to edit people who are important to me, it's now asking me, am I filling this on behalf of myself or for someone else? If I click yes, I'm filling it in for someone else. It then asks for my name, relationship. Do I have consent to fill this in? And obviously, if I try and click past and say, yes, I have consent, but I haven't specified my name or relationship, then it stops and requires me to add those.
And they would obviously have to be added into the person's care circle in the first place to have access to this. Is that correct?
I would have to go away and confirm that for you. If I just looking to see if I can click in and click past, I'm not sure. My assumption is that you wouldn't be able to see this person's about me unless you're in the circle.
Yeah.
In general.
We're just at the conceptual high level thinking at this stage. But,
Maggie with a question?
Yep.
I would avoid the word consent there because, of course, all the implications around they might not actually have consent because it might be done on the basis of Mental Capacity Act. So I would say authority, whereas consent can be looked at elsewhere as part of the signing in process, I would say. But because the word consent will stop anybody nervous about that, would just not go any further. So that will create blocks in the system.
And that sort of discussion came up at the last meeting, Maggie, and the terms of use will be sharing around shortly to look at how we can address these things upon sign up to the portal. We'll welcome feedback on that.
Okay. So in this option, it's now giving me the ability to update the record, add further details, add images, and for each person within these contacts, it allows me to tick boxes as to what that status of the person is. Are they the primary contact? Should they be contacted? Or I can also flag that they specifically should not be contacted or consulted. And then finally, the ability to remove that contact from the record. The same for the two other contacts that were listed there in this test record. Again, the details are pretty light on this one, but you get the idea of the options that the user has. And then I can click on to start editing the second question.
It's a bit like joining eHarmony, isn't it?
Don't know, Graham.
Sharing a bit more than I should.
I mean, it does look very easy to edit. It looks really easy to read, and it's I suppose it backs up the theory that the more you can get the patients or users to write, the more information you actually get. So when we're having patients booked in, if they've filled out an online consult, I often get a whole A4 page of history, where if the receptionist booked them in, I get a one-liner, they've got a cough and can't work. But if they put their own stuff in, there's a lot more to read, which can save time once you've read it. So, and if I was going in from one care home to another care home, I think this would be so useful to have all of this for the initial get to know you with the care staff.
And this is actually available on a mobile device, on an iPad, so even if they don't have a digital solution, which is one of the challenges for the shared data, we can still pull this in from I understand, chatting with some of the PCN managers recently, that there are devices that have been issued, some have been returned, but it's certainly an option to look at addressing some of the the low-hanging fruit for the care homes and capturing this.
Maggie has a hand up. I think, Maggie, do you want to ask a question? You've got your hands up for a while now. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, something else. It comes on the back of having been working on that for quite a long time previously. Two things. Firstly, it's really helpful when you have at the top actually using icons to distinguish the different questions, because when you get to know something very quickly and you want, for example, as a GP, you want to know if somebody's got a problem with their swallow, if you know what icon to look for, rather than having a series of ticks that look all the same, it's a really speedy thing. The other thing about eating and drinking, communicating, washing, dressing, walking, is to have right at the top the option of saying I don't have any problem, I communicate normally, or I walk normally, or I don't need any help with this. It makes it a lot quicker for people filling out the form if that normal option is right at the top, rather than having to search down for a button that says verbal communication, which actually for you and me is how we communicate. But actually, if we were doing it, we would just be looking for a button that says I don't have any problems communication. I don't have any problems with going to the toilet. I don't have any problems with washing and dressing. It's something that we talked about a lot when we were working on this a couple of years ago with patient groups.
Great. Fantastic. Thank you. Sarah's agreeing. You're getting agreement in the chat there, Maggie. Thank you. Is Masad on the call as well, Simon?
No, just me today. But I'll pass on the feedback. And I guess we've had one session with the patient engagement group looking at this template amongst others. But I guess we'd certainly look to do more. I guess once we build a prototype form for Herefordshire, Worcestershire.
Well, I'm sure we could certainly tee up a time with the design team to. Maggie's been on some leave, but she's been involved in this work for longer than certainly I have been anyway. So,
Sarah?
Yeah, I guess I was just asking, is this? I know you said this has come from sort of a national source, but is this now going to be the template that is rolled out nationally for all sort of digital systems to be using this template?
There's no national mandate to do that, is my understanding, Sarah. The template that they've used in London and that we're suggesting that we also use is taken from the Professional Record Standards body. To provide some consistency across the country, but I'm not aware of a mandate for this to be used. But
I guess it's just in terms of how much we can adapt it in terms of the feedback that we're having right now.
So we've got the opportunity to make modifications. It just gives sort of the sections are the same as we had in the core plan, and so the breakdown and the options really give consistency or from the national templates. So, but yeah, we can modify this, and the proposal is that we would work with the patient groups over the next few months to get their input into what they think and what needs to be changed and added. So we do a sort of co-production approach before we would make this available to everyone, and when the portal is sort of formally launched.
Julia?
Yeah, I'm just thinking that the language is very care and patient focused, and I'm just wondering, if the long-term aim is that everybody will complete this, that might be a barrier, and certainly I don't think the language would reflect somebody completing it when they hadn't got a care need.
What does everyone think about that? So the template's included with the agenda papers, and so if you find some time to have a look at that, well, we've got a bit of time because I need to get sign off from CROA over the next couple of weeks just to take the next steps. So if you'd like to have a look at the template, and this is the first section of the care and support plan, or one of the first sections, and so we're really just looking to get this onto formal tracks. And just to remind everyone, I'm just going to share my screen. Sorry to jump in, Simon. What we're suggesting is, so we've got the what matters questions, but we're going to use the breakdown that the professional record standards body has for our trial, and this information will be the shared care record will be able to query this information from the patient portal, and will be presented on a new tab in here within the shared care record. And in the background, we're having discussions about care community and the care planning solution, but this gives us the ability to trial this template with patients and make it available to clinicians. And as Colin mentioned, sorry, my screenshot's cut off here, but the other thing we need to think about is how we make it clear that there's information within this tab. If we have a notification up here, you can see the little yellow hazard one. There's also a bit of a discussion about maybe having a one for respect, a purple one for respect. But as Maggie mentioned, having icons to highlight either new information or populated patient data. Sorry, Simon, I'll hand back over to you.